All right, so let's continue where we left off. We got all the way from Genesis 1:1 to Genesis 2:7. And I was telling you previously about how I believe that the 7 days of creation are not literal 7 days. How I feel like it's either poetic or it's more, or it sounds like a song, and the different days are basically different verses of the song, and you can kind of see a lot of repetitive speaking of similar stuff throughout the different 7 days. That makes me kind of lean towards it being a song because it's got a intro and then the repetitive verses and then outro kind of setup. So something I also wanted to be pointing out as we read through this is what God is showing us as far as what it means to be human, our purpose in life, our what it means to be a man, and be able to look towards that in order for guidance on what I should be doing. And so in the beginning, God told us to be fruitful and multiply. So basically, your fruit is the works of your labor, what you create, what your actions are. That is your fruit. What comes from you. You will see fruit being used as a metaphor for your actions in the Bible. And then multiply, basically have babies, replenish the earth. Basically, we're given dominion over every living thing on the earth. So that's one place to start. Is he wants you to be fruitful. He doesn't want you to be idle. He wants you to multiply, and he wants you to have dominion over the earth. So the people that are saying that we're just parasites on the earth are wrong. God has told us that we need to take dominion over the earth, and that's what people do. I mean, it's just kind of natural. We subdue the earth, so, and we form it to our liking, and that's we're doing God's will. All right. So previously we got through the 7 days of creation, and we left off where God had created man, and just breathed life into him, and he became a living soul. So we're going to continue at Genesis 2:8, the King James Version. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight, and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted, and became into 4 heads. The name of the first is Pison. That is it which compasseth the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium and onyx stone, and the name of the second river is Gihon. The same is it that compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia. And the name of the third river is Hiddekel. That is it which goeth toward the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is Euphrates. And the Lord God took the man and put him into the garden of Eden, to dress it and to keep it. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. Just to stop there, you'll notice the rivers that God is talking about here, and this is literal places on the earth. So the Bible is rooted in history. It's not just a fairy tale. This is reality. Actual physical places that we're talking about here. Because you'll recognize some of the names of the places. Also, just to make note, when God created man, he put him in a garden, basically to take care of it. So there's another thing you can do. Grow a garden. It feels accomplishing when you grow something and actually get to eat what you grew. It feels good. So, men, if you're depressed, go grow a garden. It's fun. It's good. It gives you something to attend to and take care of, and yeah, do that. Now we got God's commandment to man not to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So let's continue. And the Lord God said, It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him. And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field, and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found an helpmeet for him. So here's another thing that kind of makes me think that the 6 days of creation aren't literal 6 days, because before Eve was even made, Adam is naming all these creatures, and that kind of gives me the impression that this has been going on for a while, and Adam's getting a bit discouraged because he hasn't come across anything that is a good helpmeet for him. So in the 6 days of creation, on the sixth day, he creates man, Adam and Eve, male and female. He created them. But in this case, Eve isn't even here yet. Adam's been living in the garden and tending to it, and God's been bringing animals to him to name. So all the living creatures, he's been doing this for a while. I'm assuming he did it for quite a while before he brought Eve along, because I get the sense that Adam is getting a bit discouraged and very kind of down on himself and hopeless, because he just hasn't been able to find somebody to be with, and he longs for that. So let's continue. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Now I can only imagine what Adam was thinking when he first saw Eve. As a man, I can fully imagine what he was feeling and thinking when he first saw Eve, because it was probably quite a stunning experience for him to lay his eyes on. So let's continue. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. So there's another direction to take your life. Once you find your wife and you guys get married, you should basically be detaching from your parents as authority figures and start creating your own authority structure within your family. So basically, biblically, it'd be the man as the head of the house, and then your parents are not supposed to be interfering with that. So they can come in and try to dictate what your marriage and life and family is going to be like. And you can take advice from them and honor them, but you can't let that come between you and your spouse. You're supposed to become independent from your parents at this point, and not be depending upon them once you get married. So anyway, that's something to strive for. If you're living in your parents' basement with their spouse, you should be looking to get out. And then it also shows here that they shall be one flesh. So that's implying the union that they have together sexually and emotionally, and how they work together to be one. And it also mentions how they're naked and they're not ashamed. So that's something that'll be brought up again later in the next chapter, which I'm not looking forward to talking about, because it just gets kind of bad from there. So right here, it ends on a very good note. Adam just found his soulmate, his wife that God made for him, his helpmeet. He's now one flesh with her, and they're working together in the garden. So it lays out here a good model to follow as far as your life goes, seeking a mate and leaving your parents' basement and going out and starting a life with that person and becoming one and working together. So next we'll be going to Genesis 3 for our next Bible reading. Thanks for watching.